الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ونبينا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. We started a chapter of Mu'aqabah and contemplating and being aware of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and how Imam Nawawi rahimahullah, he brought the first hadith he brought was the hadith of Jibreel alayhi salam. When Jibreel alayhi salam comes to the masjid in the form of a person and the Sahaba don't know who it is, and all the ajaib and the very unique things Umar radiallahu anh explained. For example, he was very young and his clothes were extremely white. None of us knew him, so it couldn't be a person that was local. It had to be a traveler, but his clothes was very clean, so he couldn't be a traveler because in those times when a person would travel, he would have dust on his clothes. So much was very unique how that person came, and all of a sudden he attached his knees with the knees of the Prophet ﷺ. So the Sahaba were like, out of adab, even we don't do this, but this person we don't know, he is coming to the Prophet ﷺ and in this state. And he asked him a couple of questions. The Rasul ﷺ replied. He asked him about Iman, he asked him about Islam, Ihsan, and when is Qiyamah. The second hadith in the chapter is Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim an Abi Dharr Jundub ibn Junadah radiyallahu anhu wa Abi Abdul Rahman Mu'adh ibn Jabal. From these two Sahabas, Abu Dharr radiyallahu anhu and Mu'adh ibn Jabal radiyallahu anhuma an Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. It is stated about Abu Dharr radiallahu anh that before accepting Islam, if I'm correct, I'm pretty sure it's about Abu Dharr radiallahu anh. But anyways, before accepting Islam, he used to steal from people. He used to steal from people, and he couldn't see money with someone. He would always try to steal it. But after he accepted Islam and being in the company of the Prophet ﷺ, he couldn't see anyone with wealth even after that. Anytime he used to see someone counting his wealth, he used to give it in sadaqah. So this was that same Sahabi. And he used to tell people so much to make sadaqah that he used to be bouncing around different places. The Khalifa, later on, I believe in Uthman, Umar radiallahu anhu's time, he sent him to Syria. The Syrians had a problem with him, they sent him back. So this was Abu Dharr radiallahu anh. Everyone had their own taste. So these two Sahabas, they say from the Prophet ﷺ that he said, اتَّقِ اللَّهَ حَيْثُ مَا كُنْتَ. That fear Allah and be conscious and aware of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala حَيْثُ كُنْتُ, wherever you may be. In any situation, we should always be mindful of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And وَأَتْبِعِ السَّيِّئَةَ الْحَسَنَةَ تَمْحُهَا. And after any vice or any evil, always commit a good action right after it. وَأَتْبِعِ السَّيِّئَةَ الْحَسَنَةَ تَمْحُهَا. Anytime you do a bad deed, right after, replace it with a good deed. Tamhuha, this good deed will wipe out the bad one. Rasulullah says, anytime you do a bad deed, right after that, do a good one, and it will erase this sin. And وَخَالِقِ النَّاسَ بِخُلُقٍ حَسَنٍ رواه الترمذي. And have good manners. As Rasulullah Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says regarding him, وَإِنَّكَ لَعَلَى خُلُقٍ عَظِيمٍ. That verily you are at such a level that your akhlaq are, as Rasulullah said in one hadith, that إِنِّي بُعِثْتُ لِأُتَمِّمَ مَكَارِمَ الْأَخْلَاقِ. That I have been sent to teach mankind manners. So this tells us the importance of having morals and manners. والثالث عن ابن عباس رضي الله عنهما قال, Ibn Abbas رضي الله عنه says, كنت خلف النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يوما فقال يا غلام. This hadith here that we just read, that اتق الله حيثما كنت وأتبع السيئة الحسنة تمحها وخالق الناس بخلق حسن. One Sahabi and one companion of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he went to the store in the market area to buy something. And so this hadith comes more detailed in Bukhari. And he finds that he walks into some store and he finds that there's someone selling dates. An older lady is selling dates, and in the back of the tender area there was a very young Sahabiya, a very young companion of the Prophet ﷺ. And so he was a young person that went to buy. So anyways, he entered the store and he said salam and he was looking around for the dates. He actually wanted an excuse to go to the back area. Anyways, he finds his opportunity and he goes, and he says later on that I couldn't control myself and I had kissed the young lady in the back. So in the room. So Rasulullah, he felt very sorry and he came to the Prophet ﷺ and he told him the whole story. Rasulullah said that, say the same thing, that وَأَتْبِعِ السَّيِّئَةَ الْحَسَنَةَ تَمْحُهَا. Right after any vice, right after, commit a good action. That good action with your ikhlas, provided your ikhlas is there, will remove that sin. So this sahabi, he asked, he said that, Ya Rasulullah, he felt very special because Rasulullah as he was a person that can be approached by anyone. No one was fearful that if I approach the Prophet ﷺ and I tell him what happened or what is happening to me, Rasulullah would get angry. Once a young sahabi came and he said that, Ya Rasulullah, I'm having the temptations of doing zina. So imagine, we can't go to our own parents and tell them this, but yet this sahabi, and this tells us another thing, that how open Rasulullah was with the sahaba. Anyways, Rasulullah, he placed his hand on his heart. And he said that as soon as the Prophet ﷺ did this, all my temptations went away. And Rasulullah said that, how would you like it if your mother or sister were in the same place? So anyways, Rasulullah told that sahabi that right after any bad action, do a good one. Tamhuha, it will erase it. So this sahabi, he felt very special. And he said that, Ya Rasulullah, is this just for me? So Rasulullah said, no, bal linnas, it's for everyone, jami'a. It's for all the mu'mineen. Anytime you do a vice and evil sin, do a good one right after. This sparks another debate between scholars about how we should, or tawbah is a requirement to have our major sins forgiven. There is great ikhtilaf between scholars and even sahaba as to what is a minor sin and what is a major sin. But the way Imam Ghazali rahimahullah has put it, he said that we can't mark the major sins from the minor ones. Every sin can be a major and every sin can be a minor. How? Because when you are committing that sin, if you have somewhat fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then no matter how big we may look at that sin is as a small sin in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because when you're committing it, you have the awareness and the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. On the other hand, when we're doing a sin and we don't have the awareness and the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then even the minute or the smallest of sin become very great in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But Imam Muhammad rahimahullah, the student of Abu Hanifa, said, every small thing is also a big one, because how they say, don't look at the size of the sin, rather look at who you're sinning against. And we're sinning against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ibn Abbas radiallahu anh says that كنت خلف النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يوما, I was behind the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم one day, فقال يا غلام. So Ibn Abbas radiallahu anh, as we know, he was a very, very young sahabi at the time when Rasulullah was alive. And once Rasulullah got up to pray tahajjud, Ibn Abbas radiallahu anh was spending the night at the Prophet's house, because his khala was a wife of the Prophet ﷺ. So anyways, Ibn Abbas radiallahu anh, he sees that the Prophet ﷺ, he gets off his bed, he makes wudu, and he goes towards the masjid. So Ibn Abbas radiallahu anh also follows the Prophet ﷺ. And we know when there's two people praying, the person that's the ma'moom, or the person that's following, he usually stands on the right side. So Ibn Abbas didn't know the ruling, he was a very small child, so he came to the left of the Prophet ﷺ. And so Rasulullah, he was very young, so he took his hands behind his back, grabbed his ear, and brought him to the right. Not pulling it, but a very gentle way. Ibn Abbas radiallahu anh relates this story with much pride. So he says that I was behind the Prophet ﷺ on a journey. They were on an animal. So Rasulullah, he said, Ya ghulam, inni u'allimuka kalimat. That, O son, O boy, let me teach you something. And so Rasulullah said, Ihfadillah yahfadhk. Preserve Allah and Allah will preserve you. Ihfadillah, preserve Allah and Allah will preserve you. Ihfadillah tajidhu tujahak. And preserve Allah and you will find Him with you and He will help you. Meaning
be mindful of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. إِذَا سَأَلْتَ فَاسْأَلِ اللَّهِ. When you ask from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَإِذَا اسْتَعَنْتَ فَاسْتَعِنْ بِاللَّهِ. And when you seek help from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَعْلَمْ. And this is very important, the next sentence. وَعْلَمْ, and acknowledge and know. أن الأمة لو اجتمعت على أن ينفعوك بشيء لم ينفعوك إلا بشيء قد كتبه الله لك. That if the entire ummah, if everyone gets together, على أن ينفعوك بشيء, they all want to benefit you. لم ينفعوك إلا بشيء قد كتبه الله لك. They will not be able to benefit you except for what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has written for you. Let's say there's a very sick person. All the doctors of the planet come to cure this person. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that if everyone comes and tries whatever they can just to save you or to cause you some benefit, only that much benefit will reach you that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has written for you. وَإِنِ اجْتَمَعُوا عَلَىٰ أَن يَضُرُّوكَ بِشَيْءٍ. And if they gather to cause you some sort of harm, لَمْ يَضُرُّوكَ إِلَّا بِشَيْءٍ قَدْ كَتَبَهُ اللَّهُ عَلَيْكَ. No one will be able to harm you even the slightest amount, except that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whatever He has written for you. And رُفِعَتِ الْأَقْلَامُ وَجَفَّتِ الصُّحُفُ. And I'm sure many incidents happened to us as well, where we were sure that something was supposed to happen, something negative, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't allow it to happen. And this happens a lot. A ball coming your way, you slightly miss it, something very sharp coming your way, is supposed to hit your eye, but it hits right near your eye. As there are malaika and angels that are hafadha, they are to protect us. And in different riwayat, we find that some angels are in front of you, some behind you, some from your right, some from your left, some are sitting on top of your lungs, some by your heart, and there's one on your right and one on your left that record your deeds. But there are many angels that protect the person. So this happens many times. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that if you're 100% sure that something might happen to you, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala hasn't decreed it for you, it will never happen. It will never happen. I remember once when I was in South Africa, we went to vacation somewhere, and I went to Durban, and the beaches are known of Durban, meaning they're actually warm. When I was in Johannesburg studying, people were like, you have to go to Durban. I'm like, what's there? They're like, the water is such where you can just walk in. Usually we have to put our feet in, get used to the water, then someone has to maybe throw us in, so we're forced to, swimming in that water. But you just walk in the water and it's warm. Anyways, the waves were, the weather was somewhat bad, and in normal beaches, I'm pretty sure your beaches here, you have to walk at least maybe 100 yards to where the water reaches your neck. You go out pretty far. But in Durban, you go out 20 steps and the water is already here. So anyways, I was in the water and I don't know how to swim. So I turned around and the water is like half my waist, and I'm asking my friends for like a football. And we're supposed to play football in the beach. Anyways, when he's about to pass it to me, out of nowhere, a wave comes, huge one. And it like pulls me back, And I'm in such a state where I'm sinking in the bottom, but I feel the floor and I kick back up as hard as I can, trying to catch some breath. And the first time I stick my head out of the water, a second and a third wave comes. And it pulls me even further. Now I can't even find the floor. Anyways, I find the floor after sinking, and I push up all the way, and I'm crying for help. And so there were some non-Muslims as well, Africans playing in the water in the area. And these people start laughing. I look at this guy drowning. So imagine when you're about to die and people are laughing at you. I was like, if I get out alive, I'm not going to let these people go. Anyways, I read the kalima, believe it or not. I was like, I'm gone, But out of nowhere, really out of nowhere, one of the people that were swimming with us, and he was like way out on a surfboard and everything, he comes and he saves me. So the same thing, whatever situation you may be, it's not the end of it if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala hasn't written you end in that situation. And Rasul ﷺ then said, look at his balagha and his and the language he uses here, that رُفِعَتِ الْأَقْلَامُ وَجَفَّتِ الصُّحُفُ. That here is your taqdeer, and here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is writing for you here. رُفِعَتِ الْأَقْلَامُ, the pens have been lifted, وَجَفَّتِ الصُّحُفُ, and the ink has now been dried on the paper. Meaning whatever your taqdeer is, that's what it is. You can't change it because the pen has been lifted and whatever's on the piece of paper has been dried. Meaning we can't change it. But the question comes to mind that in many riwayat, the Prophet ﷺ also says, for example, if you pray or you do certain action, then your life will be increased. We find this in some riwayat and some narrations. That if everything is written in taqdeer, how all of a sudden our life is increasing? Muhaddithin say that there's two types of taqdeer. Even though everything is known to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. One is taqdeer mu'allaq, and one is taqdeer, I'm forgetting the other one, mubarra. The difference between the two is that there's one type of taqdeer that is fixed and no one can change. And taqdeer mu'allaq, right? And the second one is that taqdeer that Rasulullah said, if you do this, so for example, you're supposed to live 75 years. If you do this certain action, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that I will give you this much more life. So there's two types of taqdeer. One is fixed by Allah and nothing can change it. No action can change it. But there are some that's hanging, meaning if you do this, and then I will increase it. But whatever you take, whatever the two, it's all known to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Meaning already before He created you, He knew that you were going to do such and such action and your life was going to increase. Again, like taqdeer, we talked about taqdeer last time, that this is something we can never understand. This is something we can never understand. There are some people that say that, we are totally forced by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because everything was written for us. So Him holding us accountable doesn't make sense because in a way we're forced to do these things. And some people go to another extreme and they say, no, there is no such thing as taqdeer, because then why is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala going to punish us for our bad and reward us for our good? But we stay just in the middle. Abu Hanifa rahimahullah, he says that the person who thinks himself to be equal with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the sense that he says that I can do whatever I want, then that person has committed shirk because he is equivalent himself to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the person who's even on top of that and he says that I can do whatever I want, no one stopped me, there's no such thing as taqdeer, then he even has made da'wah upon being on top of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The best place to be is just in the middle. In another riwayah, Imam Nawawi rahimahullah says, that's not in Tirmidhi, this one was in Tirmidhi. And the wordings of the hadith, احفظ الله تجده أمامك. Preserve Allah, be conscious of Allah, you will find Him in front of you. تعرف إلى الله في الرخاء يعرفك في الشدة. If you recognize Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, also very deep, if you recognize Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala في الرخاء يعرفك في الشدة. If you remember Him in good times, when everything is going your way as planned, He will recognize you when you're in your bad days, your hard times. But now it is the opposite way. We don't have any concern or not a single thought goes to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when we're easy and relaxing. And suddenly when something happens, we lose a job, our salary gets a cut or anything of that sort, then all of a sudden we're on the musalla 24/7, making dua non-stop. But the formula is to recognize Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when everything is your way, and then He will help you when you're in your hard times. So, تعرف إلى الله في الرخاء يعرفك في الشدة. واعلم, and know, أن ما أخطأك لم يكن ليصيبك. Whatever has missed you, لم يكن ليصيبك, it was not meant to get you. Whatever has nearly missed you, if it was a car accident, you said, if I turned my wheel this way, I would have been in an accident. No. If you're not in an accident, it was never written for you. وَمَا أَصَابَكَ لَمْ يَكُنْ لِيُخْطِئَكَ. And whatever has got you, it was never going to miss you. Whatever got you, it was never supposed to miss you in the first place. It was meant towards you. It was meant to target you. وَعْلَمْ أَنَّ النَّصْرَ مَعَ الصَّبْرِ. And know that nasr and help is with patience. وَأَنَّ الْفَرَجْ مَعَ الْكَرْبِ. And The doors of easiness opening for you in times that's hard is ma'al karb, with trials and tribulations. وَأَنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا. And with every hardship there is ease. With every hardship there is ease. وَالرَّابِعُ عن أنس رضي الله عنه قال, Anas رضي الله عنه says, إِنَّكُمْ لَتَعْمَلُونَ أَعْمَالًا هِيَ أَدَقُّ فِي أَعْيُنِكُم مِّنَ الشَّعْرِ كُنَّا نَعُدُّهَا عَلَى عَهْدِ رَسُولِ اللَّهِ صلى الله عليه وسلم من الموبقات. Anas رضي الله عنه says that nowadays you do such actions. Anas رضي الله عنه, who's reporting this hadith, was a Sahabi and a companion of the Prophet ﷺ who lived past all the other Sahaba. He lived for a very, very long time, past 100. And so Abu Hanifa rahimahullah was also that scholar who benefited from Anas radiallahu anhu and the Sahabi directly. So Anas radiallahu anhu, way after the Prophet ﷺ passes away, he says this to his students, that إِنَّكُمْ لَتَعْمَلُونَ أَعْمَالًا, that nowadays you do such actions, هِيَ أَدَقُّ فِي أَعْيُنِكُم مِّنَ الشَّعْرِ. You think nothing of it. It's more lighter for you than a piece of hair. You do such actions that you think so lightly of. كُنَّا نَعُدُّهَا. We used to consider these same actions that you're doing right now مِنَ الْمُوبِقَاتِ, from things that will destroy your iman. So you do such actions now that you consider very, very light. It's not a big deal. It's only sunnah. A lot of times we hear it's only sunnah. After salah, where Rasulullah used to pray two, for example, after salah, it's only sunnah, and they walk out of the masjid. The Sahaba used to die for each sunnah because it was sunnah and because the Prophet ﷺ acted this way or did a certain action. And we the opposite, leaving it because it's sunnah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us tawfiq. والخامس عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه. Abu Hurairah رضي الله عنه says from the Prophet ﷺ, إن الله تعالى يغار وغيرة الله تعالى أن يأتي المرء ما حرم الله عليه. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, like all of us, have ghayrah. And there is no word, like we're discussing the words, where we can have a word for it in English. And these are one of those words that in any language you won't find the word or the translation for ghayrah. So the Sahabi says that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also has ghayrah. What is his ghayrah? أَن يَأْتِيَ الْمَرْءُ مَا حَرَّمَ اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ. That when a person starts coming close to what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has prohibited, that's when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has ghayrah. Why? Because he sees that the same person that I feed every day, and the same person that may he even be a kafir and a non-believer, but out of so many ni'am and blessings Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala showers upon us daily, he sees that this person neglecting all of that, he is still coming towards haram and those things that are prohibited. And that's when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala starts to get angry. So وَغَيْرَةُ اللَّهِ تَعَالَى أَن يَأْتِيَ الْمَرْءُ مَا حَرَمَ اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ. وعن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه رضي الله عنه سمع النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول. Abu Hurairah رضي الله عنه reports that the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم said, إن ثلاثة من بني إسرائيل أبرص وأقرع وأعمى. This is a very nice story Rasulullah ﷺ narrates to the Sahabi. He says that in Bani Israel there were 3 people. And one of these 3 people was Abras. He was in a sickness where the skin used to come off the body. وَأَقْرَعْ and وَأَعْمَى. And the second and third was a blind person who can never see. And there was Aqra, a person who had no hair on his body. So these 3 people came, and أَرَادَ اللَّهُ أَن يَبْتَلِيَهُمْ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted to test them. فَبَعَثَ إِلَيْهِمْ مَلَكًا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent towards these 3 people an angel. فَأَتَى الْأَبْرَص فَقَالَ. So this angel comes to the first person, the Abras, and he says, أَيُّ شَيْءٍ أَحَبُّ إِلَيْكَ. What is the thing that you desire the most? قال لون حسن وجلد حسن. That my skin to stop falling off my body, and for my badan and my body to be sahih and salim, free from defect. ويذهب عني هذا الذي قد قذني الناس. فَمَسَحَهُ فَذَهَبَ عَنْهُ قَدَرُ. So this angel went to him and he asked him for his wish. And so he said, this is my wish. So the angel had rubbed him, and فَذَهَبَ عَنْهُ قَدَرُ وَأُعْطِيَ نُورًا حَسَنًا. He was without defect, in perfect form. Then he said, قال فَأَيُّ الْمَالِ أَحَبُّ إِلَيْكَ. What type of wealth is most beloved to you? So he said, قال الإبل, camel. أو قال البقر, شك الراوي. The narrator has a doubt. Did the Prophet ﷺ say camel, or did he say that he wanted a cow? فَأُعْطِيَ نَاقَةً عُشَرًا. So forget just one camel, he was given a camel that was pregnant. So he also got what he wanted, his wish was fulfilled, and on top of that he received wealth from this angel. فَقَالْ بَارَكَ اللَّهُ لَكَ فِيهَا. And then he made dua that may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put barakah and blessings for you in this. And he left that person. فَأَتَى الْأَقْرَعُ فَقَالْ أَيُّ شَيْءٍ أَحَبُّ إِلَيْهِ. He comes to the second person, this angel, he comes to the second person, and by the time we're done with the hadith, you will see that there's a very important lesson here. He comes to the Aqra, and the person who had no hair, and he said, أَيُّ شَيْءٍ أَحَبُّ إِلَيْكَ. What was your wish? قَالَ الشَّعْرُ الْحَسَنُ وَيَذْهَبْ عَنِّي هَذَا الَّذِي قَدْ قَذَرِ لِلنَّاسِ. That I want good hair. I want good hair. And this thing that people keep, pointing fingers to me, I want this to go away. So oh angel, give me good hair. This is my wish. So فَمَسَحَ فَذَهَبَ عَنْهُ. He made masa of his head and he had good hair. وَأُعْطِيَ شَعْرًا حَسَنًا. And he was given good hair. قَالْ فَأَيُّ الْمَالِ أَحَبُّ إِلَيْكَ. A bonus. What wealth would you want? قَالَ الْبَقَرِ. He said cow. فَأُعْطِيَ بَقَرَةً حَامِلًا. And again he was giving another bonus on top, that he gave him a pregnant cow. وَقَالْ بَارَكَ اللَّهُ لَكَ فِيهَا. And he said that may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put barakah and blessings for you in this. And the third person. فَأَتَى الْأَعْمَى فَقَالْ. He came to the blind person. There's a difference. One is that blind person who was born blind. And a'ma, that blind person who had eyesight, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala took away his eyesight. And this is more, this requires more sabr. Because once you're already able to see and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes you blind, then more sabr is required. Because that's more harder. So he comes to this person, أَيُّ شَيْءٍ أَحَبُّ إِلَيْكَ. What would you want? What is your wish? قال أن يرد الله إلي بصري وأبصر الناس. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives me my eyesight, فأبصر الناس, and I can see people. فمسحه فرد الله إليه بصره. So he makes masa, he wipes over his eyes, and now he's able to see. قال فأي المال أحب إليك. He says now, the angel, that what is the most beloved wealth to you? قال الغنم. He says sheep. فأعطي شاة والدة فأنتج هذان وولد هذا. So he was given a sheep, a pregnant sheep. And so all these animals that these people were given, the first person had the camel, the second person had the cow, and the third person had the sheep. All of them over time had kids. And the narrator says that there was a valley of these animals. So فَكَانَ لِهَذَا وَادٍ مِنَ الْإِبِلِ. This person had a whole valley filled with camels. وَلِهَذَا وَادٍ مِنَ الْبَقَرِ. And for this person had a whole valley filled with cows. And وَلِهَذَا وَادٍ مِنَ الْغَنَمِ. And this person had a whole valley filled of sheep. ثُمَّ إِنَّهُ أَتَى الْأَبْرَصِ. Now, after many, many years, after the angel comes to these three people, he asked them what they want, they were given what they want, they had two bonuses on top. After a long amount of time, this angel comes back to them, but now in a form of a human. ثُمَّ إِنَّهُ أَتَى الْأَبْرَصِ فِي صُورَتِهِ وَهَيْئَتِهِ. He comes to the first person, the Abras, in a different form. فَقَالَ رَجُلٌ مِسْكِينٌ قَدْ انْقَطَعَتْ بِي الْحِبَالِ فِي سَفَرِي. That I'm a very poor person. And I was on a journey, and my animal died, or I don't have the animal. Out of your whole valley and flock of camels that you have, just give me one. Give me one camel out of all those camels. So he says, this person says, the angel who came in the form of human, فَلَا بَلَاغَ لِي الْيَوْمِ إِلَّا بِاللَّهِ ثُمَّ بِهِ. Because there's no person that can help me, I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala firstly, and then I ask you for your help. أسألك بالذي أعطاك اللون الحسن والجلد الحسن والمال بعيرا أتبلغ به في سفري. That I ask you by the name of that person who gave you good skin and good appearance, والمال, and a lot of wealth. Please give me one camel. أتبلغ به في سفري, I will complete my journey. So this person said, الحقوق كثيرة. I can't. I have too much bills, I have too much this, I have to take care of many things. الحقوق كثيرة. فقال, so now this person says, كأني أعرفك. I think I know you. ألم تكن أبرص يقرك الناس فقيرا فأعطاك الله. Weren't you in this situation? You were a very poor person. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gifted you with everything you wanted. He gifted you all this wealth. And he lies. He says, فَقَالْ إِنَّمَا وَرِثْتُ هَذَا الْمَالِ كَابِرٌ عَنْ كَابِرٌ. This wealth though, I was, what you call that? This came to me as wiratha. This came to me as what my forefathers had left. They had left a lot of wealth and I inherited this from them. So then, فَقَالْ إِن كُنْتَ كَاذِبًا فِي دَعْوَاكَ فَصَيِّرَكَ اللَّهُ إِلَى مَا كُنْتَ. So this person who was actually an angel, he said, if you're lying, then may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put you back in the same situation. So then, وَأَتَى الْأَقْرَى. Now he comes to the Aqra. فِي صُورَتِهِ وَهَيْئَتِهِ, in a different form. This angel, he comes in a humanly form to the second person. فَقَالَ لَهُ مِثْلَ مَا قَالَ لِهَذَا. He said the same exact thing. وَرَدَّ عَلَيْهِ مِثْلَ مَا رَدَّ هَذَا. And the Aqra also responded with the same response, that I have a lot of things to pay for, I have a lot of bills, I have many children, I can't give you one cow. فقال, and he said the same, that إِن كُنْتَ كَاذِبًا فَصَيِّرَكَ اللَّهُ إِلَى مَا كُنْتَ. If you're lying, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put you back in the same situation. وَأَتَى الْأَعْمَى. And now he comes to the blind person. فِي صُورَتِهِ وَهَيْئَتِهِ. فقال رجل مسكين وابن سبيل. I'm a very poor person, I'm also a traveler, I have nothing with me. انقطعت بالحبال في سفري فلا بلاغ لي اليوم إلا بالله ثم بك. That I cannot reach my destination without the help of Allah firstly and then your help. So أسألك بالذي رد عليك بصرك شاة أتبلغ بها في سفري. I ask you in the name of that person who returned to you your eyesight, give me one sheep أتبلغ بها في سفري, from which I can complete my journey. He didn't have anything to eat. فقال, so this person said, قد كنت أعمى فرد الله إلي بصري. That yes, I was blind and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala restored my eyesight. فخذ ما شئت ودع ما شئت. So take what you want and leave what you want. From his entire flock of sheep, he says, take what you want and leave what you want. فوالله ما أجهدك اليوم. I swear I will not go behind you asking for this favor that yeah, I gave you a sheep one day, give me something in return. No. اليوم بشيء أخذته لله عز وجل فقال أمسك مالك. So this person said that, take anything you want. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I was blind, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave me my eyesight. So this was a ni'mah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now when I see someone else in help, I am ready to give you anything and everything. So take what you want. So this person says, Amsik malak. That no, I don't want anything. فَإِنَّمَا أُبْتِلِيتُمْ. That you people were tested. فَقَدْ رَضِيَ اللَّهُ عَنْهُ وَسَخِطَ عَلَى صَاحِبَيْكَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is very pleased with you and He's very angry at your two other partners. And which tells us something, that these three people had everything they wanted, everything they made dua for, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then tested him. He had everything he ever wished for. He had his wealth and he had nothing to worry about. He had a whole flock of camels. And camels in that day was like a beamer in our times. Right? Very expensive. A person who had an animal was considered to be blessed. But because camel is such an animal, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes mention of a camel in Surah Al-Ghashiyah. That have you not seen how we created the camel? The camel, they call it the ship of the desert. It can take you the fastest in the desert, and that was desert area. Also, if you get hungry, you can also consume that camel. Also, in one journey, in one battle, the Sahaba ran out of water. And so camels are known to restore water in themselves. And it can have, you can make it thirsty for days and days upon end, right? So they cut open their stomachs and they also took some of this water because they had no water with them. So this person had a whole valley of these of camel. And so he's asking this person, that the person who gave you eyesight in his name, give me one from this whole flock. And he said, no, I have many things to pay for. But the biggest mistake he did was not to refuse the person. What was the biggest mistake?
Lied, yeah.
Lied, but when